Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel all about BI. So from session number 30, we are discussing the basics about data flow task in a Azure Data Factory pipeline. Okay, so this particular number 30 session explain the basic differences between a mapping data flow and wrangling data flow. So the following sessions are all meant for explaining some basic transformations that we can do in a data flow task. Alright, so in today's session I am going to tell you some properties or tabs present in each activity inside a data flow task. So if you want to know more about this particular data flow task you are seeing here, right, please watch my earlier videos how we developed this. Alright, I am clicking on source task and then you are seeing these particular tabs. Okay, so source setting, source option, we will be seeing one by one. The source setting options lets you choose the data set from which the input data is going to come. Okay, the schema drift is meant for enabling the changes to source column. Okay, select allow schema drift if the source column will change often. So if you are sure that your input columns are not going to change, you can uncheck it. Okay, so the following options are also for schema drift related properties. Okay, so coming to projection tab, source option doesn't have much thing to discuss, so we'll just come to projection tab. So here by default it is mentioning the column names in the source file or source table, also the data type of each column according to the source schema, source option, right? So this is my source file wherein we have 5 columns and each column has certain set of records. Alright, so by we haven't mentioned any data type here in the Excel. See here, it's all general. So according to this Excel rate, all the columns are of string type. But if you want to make Azure Data Factory to decide what kind of data is present in each column, what you can do is you can ask it to project in the sense you can ask it to detect the data type. Okay, in order to do these things we have to start the data flow debug. So I'm just clicking it. By default these tabs will be disabled, so if you want to use this, just click on the data flow debug. Okay, so this is going to spin up a cluster in order to run this particular data flow activity. So it is going to take 4 to 5 minutes time. Okay, meanwhile I'll be explaining you other options in the data flow task. Okay, so this detect data type, once you click it, right, it will be mentioning the ID column, age column and score column to be decimal. Okay, because as you can see here we have numbers here, so based on that it will determine that those columns are of double type or decimal type. Okay, so other columns like name and last name, the first name and last name, these are going to be string. Okay, so this is what it will do after we click on detect data type, and it's going to change it here. Reset schema is after we have detected and these types have changed, right? If you want to reset it to its original schema, you can reset it. Okay, import projection is you can import these settings internally to the data flow pipeline. Alright, so this is with respect to detection of data type. So there is one another option here, define default format. So this is used to mention a format for specific format for certain columns. There might be date columns or time columns or decimal columns, right? So if you want to have a specific format for a date column, for instance DD MMYY or MMDDYY, you can use this particular tab. Okay, click on this, it will have various formats for date, time, numerical number, whole number and fraction. Okay, so you can use this particular tab to choose your own the format that you want to have the data stored in the data factory. Okay, so I'm just cancelling it. So these are all with respect to projection tab. So when you come to optimize tab, right, see, when you have a complex or a huge set of records handled in data flow task, right, it's definitely going to be slower. So the performance will be affected if the data set is huge. So it's not with respect to Azure Data Factory only, but in case generally I'm telling, if you have millions and millions of records, it's going to take time for loading the records to the destination. Okay, in such scenarios what we'll be doing is we'll be recommended to create partitions of data. Okay, by default use current partitioning will be selected. Okay, so this is letting the Azure Data Factory guess the number of partitions based on the data set or input data that we are providing. Okay, so single partition, when we have to choose this is when you're sure that your data set is not going to be a huge set, it is just a small set of data, and partitions and all need not be created. If you think so, you can go for this option. Okay, otherwise if you want to choose the different set of partitioning techniques that are available, right, you can choose also. But before going through this, right, why we have to partition at all? Okay, to answer that question, right, see, internally these data flow tasks, right, they will be executed as a cluster job or spark job inside a cluster. Okay, so when we are choosing the partitions, right, what internally will happen is your data is going to be distributed to number of nodes based on the number of partitions that we are choosing, right, and we are going to parallelly run the commands inside that spark job. Okay, so number of partitions determines number of nodes in which it is run. Okay, parallelly. Okay, so to improve the or optimize the performance based on number of different partitions, right, so we have to choose this optimize tab. We have to come to this optimize tab. So until you have any performance issue, you won't be coming to this particular tab. Okay, I'll be just giving you a quick introduction about all the types of partitions available. Okay, so set partitioning is apart from letting the Azure Data Factory choose its own partitioning type, or you are telling it to use a single partition, you will come here and choose the available set of partitions. Okay, so there is a small difference between other types of sources and Excel source. So we have Excel source and SQL source. Okay, so the SQL source, when you click here, right, you will have an additional partitioning option which is called source partitioning. Okay, when you choose this Excel source, right, it won't have that source partitioning. Okay, so what we are going to see now is what are these partitioning options available, how they are different. Okay, so it's just that there are various techniques in which we can partition the data. Partition the data means, for example, assume you have 1 million records or 10,000 records. Okay, so if you have one single partition, these records will be handled as one partition while moving the records from source to destination. So it might have number of transformations in between source and destination, right? So when it is a single partition, every task or every transformation is going to be carried out on 10,000 records as a whole. Okay, in case there is a column called first name column. Okay, so what we are trying to do is we are going to trim. Okay, so trim the white spaces in between the source and destination. When we have a single partition, it is going to be trimming the records one by one in this single partition. Okay, so if in case it is, we have multiple partitions, right? For example, we have partitioned the records based on some column. For example, we have a country column, we have a state column, and then we have a city column. Okay, so in our input set, which is 10,000 records, we have these three columns also. So what we are trying to do is we are going to partition based on the state column. For example, it might have Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, like this, right? So what it is going to do is it is going to create a partition for each state. When we are saying we are going to partition the records by state, right, it is going to split the records based on the state information present in the row. Okay, so if you have 10 state records in among 10,000 records, right, it will have 10 different partitions. So it means that 10 states means 10 partitions. 10 partitions means what? This 10,000 record is going to be split into 1,000 records per partition, approximately. Okay, so if we are sure that our data set is going to be equally distributed among states, right, so it will be approximately 1,000 records per partition. So to visually explain you, right, we have a country column, state column, and city column. Based on the state we are partitioning means there will be n number of partitions similar to the states. Okay, if there are n states, there will be n partitions. Okay, coming back to the available partitioning options. There is a round robin, which is the simplest form of partition. Okay, round robin in the sense what? We have 10 records starting from 1 or 5 records. Okay, to explain you quickly, we have 6 records and we have 3 partitions or 2 partitions maybe. Okay, so partition number 1, partition number 2. So the left hand side is serial number, right hand side is partition number. Okay, so round robin means every record is going to be mapped to one partition sequentially. The first will be mapped to first partition, second record will be mapped to second partition, again third record will be mapped to first partition, fourth record to second partition, and then fifth record again to first partition, sixth record again to second partition. Okay, so when we will be using this type of partitioning is we are not sure about the column in which we have to do the partitioning. Okay, we just have a serial number column or an identity column. We don't have any other column to split the data in a very well manner. Okay, in an optimized way. If we can't do the partitioning, you can choose this particular round robin method. Okay, so round robin in the sense sequentially the records will be distributed to the available number of partitions one by one. Alright, so what is hashing is similar to a round robin but based on the hash value of the column that we are mentioning. Okay, for each column it will compute a hash value. So maybe you can assume it to be a random number. So based on that random number it will be grouping to the available number of partitions. Okay, so fixed range, this particular partitioning type, right, you can write expressions that will make the input data set to be distributed to a fixed number of partitions. You can determine you can mention the fixed range in the sense the partition names to be 1, 2, 3 and you can write conditions that will be applied to the records which will be split into the available partitions. Okay, dynamic range is similar to fixed range but here you are mentioning the number of partitions is fixed but here it is dynamic. Okay, and keys based on the key field. If you know about your data very well and if you are very well sure of the cardinality means the relationship between the tables and all, right, and you think that using a key column will be the best way to partition the data, then you can use that particular key column to split the records. Okay, so number of partitions, here they are recommending us to use at least 2. When I make 1, right, it will tell there must be at least 2 partitions. Alright, so after having seen about the basic things, right, I just want to tell you one simple thing. Don't come to this particular tab until there is an absolute necessity. Okay, Microsoft itself is recommending us not to touch this because internally it is handling all the partitioning stuff and optimizing the data flow for best performance and all, right. So unless you have a specific requirement, don't come to this particular tab. So we can keep on learning some stuff. So it's always better to know about the tabs that we have been using in the data flow activities. So I think I have made this partitioning stuff clear. And one more thing that I want to tell you is this optimize tab will be present in all the transformation tasks. Okay, if you see here, right, so it will be available in the all the transformation tasks. So why do we have this kind of optimization is, see, there will be a set of records coming from the source and you will be performing certain transformations. Okay, transformation in the sense grouping or reducing the number of records, right. So it doesn't matter, I mean it is not going to help you if you are doing some transformation after partitioning. Okay, so if you are sure that your transformation is going to reduce the number of records or it's going to reshuffle the records, then hold on for a while and after doing those partitions, right, you can make this partitioning decision after the transformations are made also. Okay, before it comes to sync, right, you can optimize till after you have done all the partitions. That is why they are letting us use this optimize tab in all the activities present in the data flow task. Okay,